Hello, Aquarius. My name is Dawn Priolette, and I am an intuitive channel. And for today, I'm going to do the reading for Aquarius. This is a love tarot reading. So this is really going to pertain to your romantic relationship. And before I do that, I just want to make a quick announcement. So right now I'm recording this on Blab IM, and this is how I would do also a reading for you. If you, for example, right now I'm offering 2-question readings for $20. And so you can ask any 2 questions that you want, and I would do a reading for you just like this. And I would then send you the link in an email to go to the video because it would be uploaded. You could either have the MP3 or you could have the video. You would have a link to either one of them that you could watch on Blab IM. And the other choice is I could then turn around and upload it to YouTube. And of course, your name will not be mentioned anywhere in the video, or maybe even just your first name so that you know who it's for. But there would be no identifying information. But anyway, this video, like I said, is recorded on Blab IM, and then I go ahead and upload them to YouTube. So you should see in the info box underneath this video, there will be instructions on how you can actually book a reading for me, because this is going to be kind of a general reading. But you would be amazed, even with a general reading, how many of you will find that this really fits your particular situation. So this is, as I said, this is for Aquarius, and it could be Aquarius sun sign if your moon or your ascendant is also an Aquarius. You may find that a lot of this information applies to you as well. And you know what I'm really good at is with working with relationships. And you know, I would a lot of times do readings for people in psychic fairs and things like that. And I was real good at finding out what people's patterns were and where they were stuck and why they weren't actually finding that soulmate, which most people really are longing for. And so in this reading, I've already shuffled the cards and I laid them out just to save some time. And in this reading, this is showing very clearly a pattern of behavior that you, Aquarius, are having with relationships that is causing some problems and seems to be causing you a problem right now. So the very first card down, we have the five of staves or 5 of wands, but it came up in the reverse. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like when it's upright. And so it came up in the reverse. So basically what this means is you are a kind of a person, this is your strength. You're the kind of a person that likes to avoid conflict at all costs. You don't like any conflict or tension, anything that makes you feel really uneasy. And this can be a strength. It can definitely be a strength, something that is really good about you. Also, another meaning that this may be for some of you Well, here's what came to me. Here's what came to me intuitively is that, okay, it is a strength that you love to avoid conflict. That can be a good thing. But there's always a downside to that too. And that was clear to me when I threw down the second card. See, the Queen of Cups, this is the second card, which is referring to your weakness in the relationship. And it does very much relate to the first card. Because of all of your needing to avoid conflict and really not liking struggle or any kind of conflict whatsoever, the queen is normally, when it comes in the upright position, the queen is someone who's very emotional, very in touch with her feelings and her intuition. However, this came in the reverse position. And what that's telling me is that you may be in a situation where, because you're trying to avoid conflict, and they're telling me this is a pattern. This is not just, this has been going on for, probably your whole life. So they're saying you swallow your feelings. Instead of speaking up and saying what you want, you think that it's going to cause a conflict. And so you swallow your feelings, you swallow your opinions. A lot of times you're editing what you're saying. If your partner is asking you, what would you like to do? And you'll just say something like, oh, I don't know, what do you want to do? And it basically, because you're not speaking up, you're not speaking your truth, because you are so much wanting to avoid conflict, you end up really doing things that you don't really want to do. Or if he's behaving in a way that's bothering you, you don't know how to handle that. So you just swallow it. You swallow your anger, you swallow, the resentment, and eventually it's going to blow up. And at worst, this queen in the reverse, because she's so disconnected, your heart is also your spiritual center, right? So this is why this is so important, because when you disconnect from your feelings, which is what you're doing, you're also disconnecting from your spiritual center, from your intuition. And you never, ever want to do that. That would never be a good thing. And so this queen in the reverse, at her worst, she can be an over emotional wreck. She can become manipulative, vengeful. And, this could really be a situation where it could affect your health. You could have a major blow up and maybe, break up with this person and have regrets about it later. I know some of you, I'm already feeling some of you out there going, yep, I know, been there, done that. And the next card that comes up right underneath, which is the reality of the relationship. It really is, all of these cards are making so much sense, because it's saying this Knight of Pentacles is like, normally when it's coming up in the reverse, it's saying like you're feeling stuck. And what you're stuck in is this pattern of not, and I'm feeling like this really has to do a lot with women in relationships. Now, this could pertain to you if you're a man as well, but I really feel women have this problem probably way more than men do, because we have been conditioned. Oh, and that's coming up in the next card, where this comes from. But the Knight in reverse is saying that you are feeling stuck. This is a pattern that you have been stuck in, and you really don't know how to communicate your feelings in a way that you feel that you're really going to be heard. So here's what usually happens. You know, women, for example, instead of a woman, maybe he doesn't call her as often as she would like. But instead of just simply saying, I really loved it when, we used to talk on the phone, or check in with each other, once or twice a day. I really miss that. Okay. You know, would, instead of just saying that, or saying, I really am feeling a little neglected, or I'm feeling a little sad, that we don't talk as much as we used to. Instead, she'll say something like, why don't you ever call me anymore? And so it'll come out as an attack. It'll come out as a criticism, because you've been swallowing this stuff. You're not, it's not like that just came out, like you just got upset about that yesterday. This has been going on for a while, and it's a pattern with you. It's a pattern that every time something goes wrong, you just bury it, you push it down, which might also mean that it's your poor physical body is getting, is being affected by this as well, because you will get sick if you keep pushing things down into your physical body. Okay, so this is the reality of it. This is your pattern, and this is the thing that you're going to have to break. And the next card up, which is in the position of your happiness. Okay. Now the Hierophant refers to convention and traditions, could be family traditions. And in this case, this pattern of swallowing your feelings, disconnecting from your feelings, you learned this from your family. You learned this from your mother and your father, watching the way that they related to each other, or didn't relate, as the case may be. Certainly didn't communicate. And that's exactly where you learned this from. But also in a reading, sometimes the Hierophant can signal the need for you to get counsel from somebody about this, about how to handle this issue. Because the next card up, I couldn't have made this up if I tried. Next card up is the Page of Cups. And this is the future of the relationship. It's in that position. And so the reason I am saying that you really need to deal with this issue is because sometimes the Page of Cups is a message of love. And it could be a message about, going to a new level of commitment in your relationship. So if you've just been dating for a little while, your partner and you may be wanting to move to the next level of commitment, or it may be a marriage an engagement or a marriage proposal. And for some people, it could even be signal news of a pregnancy. Okay, so this is why this card is signaling that, this is an issue you need to get handled. Okay, you need to learn how to communicate with your partner and reconnect to your heart and stay connected to your heart. So this reading, I'm glad this came up, because this is giving me, I need to make a video on this about how to stay connected with your heart and your intuition, and also how to communicate your feelings when your feelings aren't quote unquote good feelings. How to communicate that in a way that is not going to be an attack. It is not going to come across in any way that is going to create a problem in your relationship. So, but this is a good card because it does show that there is some sort of maybe a higher commitment coming up, um, a message of love, an offering of love in whatever form that takes. And another possible meaning for this card, which also goes along with the rest of the reading, is that, and remember, this is about the future of the relationship and the karmic lesson as well. And it is about staying connected with your heart, which means, to me, that means that you speak from your heart. See, a lot of women are very, very afraid of, we've gotten to the point where, we've been trained by our mothers and sometimes by our fathers too, to be more masculine. And we've been trained that in order to be successful in life, we need to go up into our heads and be very smart. And, and we spend a lot of time up in our heads because that's where we feel safe. Oftentimes, especially if we've gone through a lot of difficulties in our childhoods or maybe even abuse, our feelings have not been a very comfortable place to stay. And that's why we chose to go up into our head, to be very logical and always come from that place of logic and thought. And we don't, sometimes there's actually a fear that if we were to actually come back down and connect with our heart, that the tears would never stop. And so this is why we do this. But it's very clear in this reading for you, Aquarius, that this is your major challenge in relationship. And it seems to be up for you, especially right now. So, if you don't want to ruin another relationship, because I know I've been there, I'm speaking from experience on this. I had that too, where I would just shove my feelings down and I refused to feel. But then what would happen is, I would actually explode. And by that time, the relationship was just done. I mean, I would go into attack mode and I would just go off and another relationship bites the dust. And I don't want to see that happen to you. So I probably will be making a tapping video about that. I'm not doing the tapping in this video today because I'm trying to keep these, the readings at a reasonable length. So I won't be doing the tapping for that in this reading today, but I will probably go ahead and post, maybe post the link here on the video on the left or the right or whatever. I will post those links to other videos that I have showing you the tapping and showing you how you can begin to break this pattern of swallowing your feelings. Because this also, this habit of going masculine, I gotta tell you, for women in particular, it's not attractive at all to men. So it's a constant thing that we need to work on as women, is staying feminine, staying connected with our hearts and our intuition. So as I said, if you want to have a personal reading, something that will go into more detail about what's going on with your relationship, please look in the information below and you will see how to go about doing that. Again, my name is Dawn Priolat, and I will see you next month, Aquarius.